This is the Russian Dynamite, Masha Slamovich.
Becca here.
This is not America's Sweetheart, Davian.
It's Billy Starks. And
the super fly guy, Trayvon Jordan.
This is the fly side flyer, Jalen Brandon.
Hardcore Princess, Jules Malone.
Hi there, this is the Bubblegum Princess, Alexia Nicole.
This is the Brazilian Wonder Woman, Christy James.
This is the baddest black belt, Chennai Kai.
This is Kid Bandit.
The smash hit Joel Bateman.
This is Robin Renegade.
Cody Hawk.
Brutal Bob Evans. And you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment, one of my favorite podcasts in the whole wide world.
Boys and girls, children of all ages, for those of you who don't know, my name is the infamous Ladamel, and I am the protagonist of professional wrestling, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment.
Hello, and welcome to the show. It's Wrestling with Entertainment, the only audio experience on the web today, the trusted choice for interviewing all your favorite wrestlers every Tuesday and Wednesday on YouTube and Castbox, sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. I'm, of course, your host, James J., and it's a great day for wrestling, because we are wrestling with the protagonist of pro wrestling, the infamous Ladamel.
You know what? That was actually not a bad intro. I'm going to be honest. That was not a bad intro. Respect, James. How's it going? You are, in fact, talking to the protagonist of professional wrestling, the infamous Ladamel. Tell you what, let me slow you down. Let me slow you down there for a second. Let me give you my introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, for those of you who don't know, my name is the infamous Ladamel, and I am the protagonist of professional wrestling.
I think you're the first guest I've had that actually introduced themselves.
Well, then I guess you don't have any good guests, my man, James. You got to get better guests, boss. You got to get the infamous Ladamel more often. How about once a week, the infamous Ladamel and James J. get it going on Wrestling with Entertainment?
Clearly, that's what we have to do.
Yes, sir.
But where can people see you next, event-wise?
Well, let's be real, okay? For those of you who don't know, I am based out of India. Currently, India's wrestling scene's a little dead, if I'm being completely honest. There's not much happening over here. And it's surprising that the Indian wrestling scene is kind of dead, considering how many views come from India, for even WWE for that matter. But it's this. I mean, there are things in the pipeline right now that people are working on. I can't say much right now because I'm under NDA. But all I can say is stay ready, boys. Stay ready. So there's something interesting happening in India. India is the next territory. I think the last territory that remains to be conquered in professional wrestling. So I'm pretty happy I can safely say that there's something in the pipeline. Let's see how it pans out. Don't want to jinx it, and don't want to kind of, violate my NDA. That's the major reason I'm not telling you what's happening, because, NDA is a serious business, boys.
No, I mean, if you signed an NDA, then it must be something big, no?
Yeah, it is. I can say it's big. I mean, I just hope, a lot of things happen in this industry where a lot of people say they have things going on and, it just doesn't pan out. So I take everything now with a grain of salt in professional wrestling. It's how I've kind of learned to look at the market. But I'd say for a fact that this project is the most promise I've seen in India for professional wrestling, for that matter. And if you don't see me in these projects, you'll probably see me abroad. You'll probably see me in the States. You'd hopefully see me on WWE. You'd hopefully see me on AEW. You'd probably see me on WWE and AEW. Let's be real. I'm pretty talented. I'm pretty good. I'm probably the best on the microphone in this entire country, probably the entire subcontinent when it comes to professional wrestling. So I'm not too stressed. I know I'll make it. I know I'm going to be... I mean, dude, listen to me. I'm the protagonist of professional wrestling. How can the protagonist of professional wrestling not be on major professional wrestling TV? It doesn't make sense to me. I'm sure you agree, James. You do agree, don't you?
Yes, absolutely. And where can we find you on social media and your merchandise?
Yes, sir. No merchandise here right now because guess what? I live in India. Nobody buys merchandise in India. Ha, ha, ha. You can find me on Instagram at the infamous Ladamel and on YouTube at just Ladamel. You can find some of my matches, some of my content. I make a little bit of some funny content here and there, do some pranks here and there, and you can find a lot of my matches, promos, etc. Especially if you're from Titan Towers, or if you're from Jacksonville, Florida, you can definitely find my content on YouTube, specifically from those two locations. I'm hoping to see some analytics from specifically specifically Titan Towers. I mean, you can't say Titan Towers, so you can say Connecticut or Jacksonville. All right, guys, be careful. Jacksonville and Connecticut specifically. I need you guys, everyone from Jacksonville and Connecticut, to be watching Ladamel content. Once again, the infamous Ladamel on Instagram and Ladamel on YouTube. You can find me there.
All right. And you don't have to go looking for it. All the links to all his social media will be in the description of the video below, both on YouTube and Castbox.
Much appreciated, James J. Wrestling with entertainment indeed. This is quite entertaining for me. I hope for the audience. I hope I'm not boring them. Wait, what am I saying? Of course, no one gets bored with the infamous Ladamel. You know why? You know why, James? You know why nobody gets bored with the infamous Ladamel? It's a very simple answer.
Because you are the infamous Ladamel.
Close, but it's because I'm the protagonist of professional wrestling. See, you're getting it. You're getting the drill. I like that. Respect.
Okay. Let's get into it. You work for Wrestling Square Pro Wrestling. Can you tell us about your relationship with that company?
Most certainly. Wrestle Square is India's #1 professional wrestling company as of now. We've been around for about 9 years. Quick story, it was started in 2015 by Mr. Vinayak Sodhi and a couple of other wrestlers as well. And what's amazing about this is that in 2015, nobody really watched wrestling in India. Wrestling as a profession, professional wrestling as a profession was unheard of. So what this gentleman did with a couple of professional wrestlers, Samsur Singh Jammuwale is one wrestler you can find, Kalyan Akki is another wrestler you can find, is that these guys hired a coach from, I'm not sure where, I think from Australia or the US, and they did video calls with him, and that's how they learned how to wrestle. Pretty interesting stuff. And they learned how to wrestle with back then there was no Zoom, but just like online classes. And they invested in a ring. They put their money down and they actually built a ring on their own. So Vinayak Sodhi goes by the name of Maxim Risky. I highly recommend you get him on the podcast as well. He's the pioneer of Indian professional wrestling in my eyes. And this gentleman has been, he learned professional wrestling on his own. I don't know many people who'd actually learn professional wrestling on their own, self-trained. And he began what was Indian professional wrestling as a career for people. Now, granted, we haven't had much success in that space. We shot a show. The show is called Dangal Ke Surma, DANGAL space KE space SOORMA, which was broadcasted on TV. We had Chris Masters on there, the founder of the Master Lock himself, former WWE superstar. So he was like the marquee talent that they had at that point in time. Unfortunately, back then I wasn't associated with the company because if I was, I can guarantee the show would be much, much bigger. But it is what it is, life happens. So now what happens at Wrestle Square right now is we have a small team right now of wrestlers who kind of train on their own. They're working pretty hard, and dude, let's be real, these guys are very, very good. Like the wrestlers that Vinayak Sodhi's produced, very good wrestlers. Kevin Malik, I think is the best in-ring worker in India, and maybe the entire subcontinent for that matter. I haven't seen much professional wrestling progress in Asia. Like I do follow it. Of course, Japan is Japan, Japan. But Thailand has a couple of places set up. Thailand is a pretty good company right now.
Yes.
They have, kind of a new company that's coming up. Good shows. They partnered up with New Japan. SPW gets regular shows here and there. They're able to get some foreign talent in. You got Malaysia Pro Wrestling as well, which is getting, it's the same recycled talent from this subcontinent. So if I'm being very honest, within Southeast Asia, you maybe have 40 wrestlers who rotate the circuit, But wrestling as a whole it might look like a very star-studded business, but it's tough if you're not on TV. It's tough if you don't have TV, simply put. Only the hardcore fans get involved in your location or in your area unless you have TV. So TV distribution is really important, and that's what I think most companies are starting to figure out over time. And TV distribution, of course, I think WWE is now separate from professional wrestling. If you look at it in terms of numbers and everything, they're very different. What do you think? Give me your thoughts on this. Like professional wrestling and WWE are two separate entities at this point in time.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'd even go one step further and say Monday Night Raw on its own, it's its own separate entity, considering it's on Netflix.
Most certainly. So, unfortunately, the Indian TV deal hasn't come into play yet for Netflix. I believe it's scheduled to come into play around April. My only concern is I have no idea what's happening. So historically in India, and I'm guessing that's the interesting aspect that people who are going to listen to this podcast would find intriguing, is, what's the scene with India for professional wrestling. So we've had, Sony, which is Sony Sports. It has a huge foothold on professional wrestling. I believe they have a contract somewhere in the realm of $15 million a year going to WWE. And dude, like, being honest, they have one entire channel on TV just dedicated to pro wrestling that goes on throughout the day. They play Raw recaps, they play old wrestling, they play random Survivor Series stuff. And the Indians love professional wrestling. You know why? Because I'll tell you why. Simply because they still think it's real. That's why, coming back to my point about how India might be the final, like the last territory that can be conquered, that's my main reason. Because India still think it's real. Like, you can still bring that out in India. That, I don't know, maybe it's a discredit to us as people and our intellect, but we still think it's real, and that opens up a huge market, and that's kind of why you see so much viewership happening coming from India. The other thing is what I study this market. Like I said, to be the best in the game, to be the protagonist of professional wrestling, you have to be the student of the game. So I study this business very, very, like, with a lot of detail, a lot of focus. And what I've kind of realized is, with regards to why Indians love professional wrestling so much, is A, it's because we still think it's real. B, the viewership that's coming, right? Viewership essentially is just numbers. If WWE goes ahead and says that they have X amount of viewers, it's just numbers. It's not like where it's coming from. It's the lower sect of people in India, lower socioeconomically, people who are in the lower classes socioeconomically. Those people tend to be a huge, like a huge volume of people comes from that particular class of people. Now, I personally feel it's because, dude, like, if I had no idea wrestling was like, it's not fake. No one said it's fake. But if I had no idea what wrestling was, and I was just, like, scrolling through my television, dude, I would be like, yo, this shit is wild, bro. This is the realest shit ever. And that's what most people feel. And to be very honest, the first time I watched wrestling, I was like, this is it's my first memory of professional wrestling, like watching professional wrestling. And it's something that I can really, I think it's the coolest thing ever, dude. People made fun of me, like, yo, why are you watching wrestling? That shit's fake. Bitch, that shit ain't fake. I'm gonna slap the shit out of you. Okay, don't ever talk smack about professional wrestling. It's the realest thing in the world. People are fake. Professional wrestling is real.
Oh yeah.
And going back to my point about India and professional wrestling, it's about time someone sets up something to compete with the WWE in this country, because it's wasted real estate if you're not able to profit and grow a brand in India of a sport that is literally India's second most watched sport. India's number one most watched sport is cricket. India's second most watched sport is professional wrestling. Not many people know that. And that's a market that can be taken, that can be kind of targeted heavily. Now, WWE doesn't show up to India too much. They came recently in 2022, I believe, or 23. I went for the show. They got John Cena to show up to Hyderabad. Big deal. Big deal. Hyderabad, sold out stadium. Fucking huge, man. WWE, get John Cena. That's a big deal, especially towards the end of his career. Reason this hasn't been working out for India is because these are still numbers of people who are watching, right? Purchasing power is a big deal. There is no purchasing power in India, unfortunately, the people who watch this content. There's this company called Soul Store, which is essentially a merchandising company in India. They took the mandate for WWE in India, but unfortunately what happened was it didn't pan out. Now, I don't know what it was. I think either WWE realized that this is not profitable for us because the margins we're making and the price sensitivity that lies in India could be an issue, or B, they just weren't able to sell enough merchandise. Now, I don't know the real reason, but all I can say is what happened after this was that there was a huge online Twitter movement, #search4merch, where even Triple H responded to one of India's biggest professional wrestling creators, and he said that we'll create merch for you guys. Unfortunately, nothing's happened since. There's been no WWE merchandising yet. There's no partner who's picked up WWE yet as merchandising partners. But I'm sure you agree that with this new TKO merger and everything, the entire concept of WWE now is to be a global brand and focus more on global markets. I don't know where India comes into that plan as of now, But I think within the next decade, we'll be seeing a lot happening in professional wrestling. And I think even AEW is going to come through soon. I think even Impact Wrestling is going to make some moves. And I think New Japan should start making that move as well towards India. You can get the viewership. It might not be the most fiscally, fiscally profitable move, but dude, it's worth a shot. It's worth a shot, I feel.
Like you said, pro wrestling is the second most watched sport in India, and
Yes, sir.
1.7 billion people. Why hasn't there been more wrestlers produced or coming out of India right now? It doesn't seem like there's, a lot of pro wrestlers.
Okay, cool. That's a very good question, and I think I have the answer for it. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions regarding that, all right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, name an Indian professional. I want you to go one by one. Name each Indian professional wrestler that you know, and I'll tell you, I'll give you the archetype of that person and why he's and his story, and then maybe you'll be able to draw an idea of what the real issue is. Name a wrestler.
Balyan Aki.
Balyan Aki. Oh, great. So Balyan Aki is an outlier. I tell you why. Balyan Aki is actually what you could hope for in an Indian professional wrestler, because Balyan Aki is actually a fan. Balyan Aki grew up watching sport, and he realized that this is something I want to do for the rest of my life. I love it so much. I am going to take a niche route. I understand that WWE is a bit of a play right now. It's tough right now. I'm going to go to Japan. I'm going to work and I'm going to live in Japan, and I'm going to wrestle out of Japan. So Balyan Aki is the archetype of professional wrestler that you would want to see coming out of India, because he's a fan. So he might be an outlier from this entire situation that I'm kind of trying to bring forth. But you can go on, name another wrestler for me from India.
But I know that he's not from India, but Jinder Mahal, I believe he's Canadian.
Yeah, Jinder Mahal is Canadian, but Jinder Mahal gives you another example of how big the Indian market actually is, because they put the title on Jinder Mahal. Now, no discredit to Jinder Mahal, great worker, and I think he came into his own as well later on towards the end of his career, and he also transformed himself. But the issue, same thing, right? He's not Indian, right? I would say Jinder Mahal just happens to be from India, but he's Canadian, right?
Correct.
I'll give you another example. Rinku Singh. Rinku Singh is Veer Mahan.
Yes.
So the backstory for Veer Mahan is very interesting. Veer Mahan was essentially a baseball player, or he had some kind of inclination towards baseball, and they made a movie on him called $1 Million Arm. It's got John Hamm in it, and that's what the movie was based on. Yeah. So this guy was he's made a bit of a name in India. He had a bit of a name abroad as well. He has a look. He has some size. What's the next move if you can't play professional baseball? WWE said, hey, come to us. We need Indians. And he went there. He did his best. I've met Veer Mahan, massive respect for him. Great guy. But, same thing. He had no product knowledge going into WWE. Right? If you have no product knowledge, if you don't study it, if you don't have the right attitude towards professional wrestling, you won't make it as a professional wrestler. Going back to your point as to why you haven't seen any big Indian professional wrestlers come out of, why you haven't seen so many professional wrestlers come out of India is because socioeconomic standards, people who are from India and watch professional wrestling. I've seen these guys come to our academy. Okay, they're tiny, dude, like 5'2", 5'3", skinny, and their goal is I want to go to WWE. Like that's how they say it. Mujhe WWE jana hai, which means I want to go to the WWE. But they have no idea of what the independent circuit is. They have no idea of the history of wrestling. They have no idea of what wrestling is supposed to be about. They don't study the sport. And that is the major issue, because if you're going to professional wrestling with the intent of moving from another sport, you have to be very charismatic and very athletic. B, you have to be very receptive. You have to be like a sponge. You have to be able to study the business like a level of intensity where your product knowledge is higher than everyone else. And that's where the infamous Ladamel comes in. Because my product, I would say without a shadow of a doubt, I am the most knowledgeable person professional wrestling, be it producing it, be it writing it, be it scripting, be it performing in the entire Indian subcontinent, without a doubt. And that I can say that with confidence because it's not just showing up looking like Hulk Hogan doing a body slam and hoping the fans love you. That's what Indians consider professional wrestling. I think it's way more nuanced. I think Indians shouldn't look at Hulk Hogan. Indians shouldn't look at the Great Khali. Indians should look at guys like CM Punk, guys like Kevin Owens, guys like Sami Zayn, guys like MJF. Okay, because that's what professional wrestling is moving towards. Because it's finally coming down to what it's supposed to be. It doesn't have to be juiced up people. It has to be personalities, larger than life personalities. I want to be able to believe that MJF. If I see MJF in public, he is exactly what he is on TV. And if I can get that amount of belief in who he is, that's when a star is made. That's how professional wrestling stars are made. And of course, the other thing is that there is no Indian professional wrestling circuit. So for someone to move and take professional wrestling seriously, understand that there is limited future in India right now. 0 to nothing. Okay, right. Like you cannot make money as a professional wrestler, and you can definitely be a weekend warrior. And no harm in being a weekend warrior. You get to do what you love, dude. Mad respect. But being a weekend warrior doesn't have the, it doesn't have. It's unheard of in India. If I'm being completely honest, that weekend warrior mentality is not something that really exists. So those are the 2 to 3 major points I feel as to why you don't see many people coming out of India as professional wrestlers. And of course, even when Indians go to WWE. The issue that arises the most is it's kind of creative, and no disrespect to WWE, but and there's a reason I don't do wrestling podcasts is because I have a lot of heavy takes on people and how this professional wrestling, how the industry works, and I don't want to get heat before I even join the company. But I'll tell you what I feel. Yeah, I'll tell you what I feel about about how Indians are treated in professional wrestling, and it's nobody's fault really. It's just a difference in like psychology. Now, what's happening is you look at Veer Mahan who came to WWE, you look at the Bollywood boys, you look at Sangha, you look at anyone else, Khali for that matter, Jinder also. The gimmick is of an Indian professional wrestler, right? An Indian professional, Indian garb, they speak, they dress like, Indians, their music is Indian, right. Everything is Indian. Incorrect approach. The correct approach is have a professional wrestler who has his own gimmick. He could be a shit talker on the mic. He could be a technical assassin. He could be, like even a corporate stooge, something like that. He happens to be Indian. Imagine CM Punk was Indian. Think about it. Everything, and you don't have to look at him like, like wearing Indian garb, having Indian walkout music, speaking in Hindi. None of that. He's just CM Punk, but he happens to be from India. So when they put the infamous Ladamel in the WWE, what they will realize is that, damn, we don't have to Indianize him. He just happens to be Indian. He's just a star. He's a star already. Like, it doesn't matter to me. He's a star already. Just put him in the ring. That's all you need to do. But he happens to be from the subcontinent of India. So people are going to be like, fuck yeah. Indians are like, fuck yeah, this is one of us. And Indians find that lame. I think Indians found a lot of the Indianized characters lame because you don't want to see, because you've seen what Indians actually are. If you live in India, you know what Indians actually are. And I can guarantee they're not what they're being portrayed on professional wrestling, on WWE TV. So that's kind of my biggest issue. Not even an issue. That's my biggest criticism and kind of me breaking down what the issue with why Indians don't work on professional wrestling, like on professional wrestling TV. But it's not like only one-sided though. The issue is that Indians have no promo skills. I don't know any professional wrestler from India who has good promo skills except for Jinder. And Jinder also took a long time to kind of get over there.
Right.
So yeah, that's why you don't see growth in Indian professional wrestling in terms of professional wrestlers coming out of India, and that's why you don't even see them becoming major stars, despite the kind of population that is backing them.
So what you're saying is, the Protagonist is one of those outliers. He's the whole package.
Oh yeah, 100%. 100% on the full package, dude. Like think about it. It's about making you feel. Wrestling is about making you believe. Wrestling is about making you believe that whatever is for an instant, for like half a second, if I can make you believe that what's happening right now is real, in the sense that who I am on the microphone, who I am in the ring is who I am in real life, and that's exactly how money is made. That's all it is. It's not too deep. You don't have to go into flippy sports. You don't have to go and do like, fucking Hurricane Rana on Hurricane Rana's Canadian Canadian destroyers, whatever, Panama Sunsets. Those moves don't matter basically. They don't matter. What matters is the story you're telling. A match is not about moves. A match is about moments. This is something that I personally have always felt. And the fewer moments you can add, but adding moments that matter is what really matters. I'll give you an example of this. So you're a new fan, okay? James, you're a new fan now. You just watched. You're watching a match, all right?
Mhm.
You are going to see El Hijo del Vikingo do his, I don't know what it's like, 720 he does. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
The movie does with rope, yeah. You see that once. You're like, fuck, that's wild, bro. That's insane. You see it next week. You're like, damn, bro, that's crazy. You see it the third week. You're anticipating it. You're like, damn, he's going to do it. And you're like, yeah, he did it. Fourth week, you're like, okay, nice. One crazy move. I love it. Fifth week, you're like, all right, boys, time for Vikingo to do his a 720 flip. Sixth week, you're like, okay, it's just a part of his repertoire now. I'm used to seeing it.
Right.
That's what it is, right? If you do these big moves over time, you're bastardizing the concept of professional wrestling as a whole. Because although they are entertaining and you get that crowd pop, but it's a forced crowd pop. The crowd is only popping because they're respecting you for doing it. They're not actually in awe of the move anymore because they've seen it week in and week out. Maybe high-flying wrestling can be saved by just doing less, but that's just my opinion. I'm a huge fan of Cornette. I really look into a lot of. I think Cornette has a great insight on professional wrestling and what it's supposed to be. Kind of missing that now, but I think the product has come too far ahead now for WWE or AEW to move back from high-flying and all of those sports, because once you've given them that, right, once they've tasted, once someone's had like methamphetamine before, if they've had heroin before, they can't go back to alcohol. Hey, you can't go back to alcohol. So the question is, why do you feed them meth?
Well, I do mean this as a compliment. Just checking out, you as a pro wrestler. I did notice that, you do talk a lot, even in the ring while you're having your matches. I don't necessarily feel like that's something that's taught when you're, in wrestling school. So what kind of made you, have that continue your personality in the ring, even when you're in a match, to continue, talking?
Well, two reasons. Number one, it's a gift, right? I'm gifted. I am the protagonist of professional wrestling for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gifted. That's it. Like, I've been given this, fortunately, the good Lord has gifted me the ability to talk and talk and talk and never stop talking. And it's just a muscle, dude. It's a muscle you are trained. The second thing is, if you're talking about how I become as don't stop talking in the ring, honestly, it's like a switch. I work a normal corporate job. I run my own company. I do just like cool corporate work. Interact with clients all the time. Oh, good evening, sir. How are you? Oh, it's a pleasure to meet you, etc. I can do that. It's a switch. As soon as I feel a certain switch, I become the infamous Ladamel. I become that person. It's an extension of my personality. I live the gimmick. And that's when stars are born. Right? The biggest professional wrestling stars are just exaggerations of who they are originally, like what their real personality is. So if you're talking about, why I talk a lot in the ring, it's because I need to keep you focused. I need to keep telling my story. I need you to hate me. I need you to know that this guy is a dumbass. Like, he's the fucking worst person I've met in my life. Oh my God, I really hate him. And when finally, I'm done talking shit, the good guy, the baby face, there's no good and bad guys anywhere. But when he finally gets his comeuppance on me, which he can sometimes if he wants, I'll let him have it, because I'm a nice guy as well. I'm all for like audience appreciation. As soon as the good guy gets his comeuppance on me, it matters a lot more because you finally shut this motherfucker up who was talking way too much trash. So it's kind of psychology over there, and it also lies into my moveset. You don't see me doing any big moves. It's not because I'm not athletic at all. I mean, I'm literally not athletic at all. But it's because if I do leave the fun big moves for the good guy, bro, for the crowd pop, it's all psychology there. Why do I want to do all that stuff? Leave it. I can be slow. I can slow the pace down, and then when something big happens, it matters more.
All right. And speaking of good guys, Skylar, the champion of India. Obviously somebody that a lot of people know in pro wrestling in India. You was in the ring with him. What was that experience like?
I'll tell you what, Sky kicked my ass. Okay, I'm a good guy. I mean, I'll be real. This guy kicked my ass. He beat the shit out of me. He wrecked me. Okay, like my chest was so red. Like it was. I think I had internal bleeding that day. I'm pretty sure. But I'm not a bitch. I won't go to the doctor about it. I'm not going to go cry about it. But I'm pretty sure I had internal bleeding. I'm pretty sure my rib cage might have been ruptured. It was pretty bad. But you know what I learned? I learned that I can get in this guy's head. I can talk so much trash to so many people, and I can get inside their head, and I can make them become better versions of themselves. I can make them become worse versions of themselves. I can make them know that they're in the ring with the infamous Ladamel, because when you're having a match against infamous Ladamel, when the infamous Ladamel is in the ring, it's going to be different. It's going to be different. It's not going to be the same old bullshit. It's not going to be, your everyday lock up, headlock takeover, fucking that match. You won't get that match. You'll get something different. I'm going to make moments every match. Every time I'm in the ring, I'm going to be watching for what's happening next, because either I'm talking or either I'm working. And both of them, I look damn good with both of them. So yeah, if I'm talking about Skylar, I mad respect to Skylar, because Skylar is one of the few people I'm inspired by, because I believe right now he's the complete package in India. He's good on the mic, he's good in the ring, he gets psychology, he gets professional wrestling, he gets what this business is about. And that's all you really need at this point to make it in this business. He beat my ass. I'm gonna take it like a man. I did take it like a man. Maybe not. I was screaming quite a bit. It was pretty painful. Fucking mad chops. But yeah, I have respect for Skylar. I have respect for anyone that does this on a high level and puts themselves through hell, because understanding where people come from in India, and the people who specifically practice professional wrestling in India, takes a lot of internal fortitude to do something like that. It's intestinal fortitude to do something like that, simply because it's not easy. People don't come to watch your matches. People don't know you as fans. You don't get paid at all. You do it for love of the craft. You do it because you fucking love this shit. And that's what I do it for. That's what Skylar does it for. That's what everyone in Wrestle Square does it for. That's what everyone working out of India in professional wrestling does it for. That's what it's really about. I know that everyone in Wrestle Square, wrestling was their first love, right? For me, my first memory is professional wrestling. My first memory is maybe I'm like, 5 years old, 6 years old, and I'm sitting with my cousins and I'm watching TV, and suddenly I see Kurt Angle walk out to like a fist, that the SmackDown fist set. I see Kurt Angle walking on there, and I see him having a match with, I think, it's Spike Dudley. I have no idea who it was. I saw that shit and I'm like, yo, this is wild. This is insane. This is the coolest thing I've seen in my life. This is the coolest thing in the world for me. And I woke up one day and then I was just like, I've been a fan ever since too. There's nothing I love more in life than professional wrestling.
Well, speaking of moments, can you tell us about that time you attacked RKT in his room?
Honestly, RKT is a bit of a bitch. Like, I don't even know why he's doing professional wrestling. Like, let's be real, he's too tiny. He's not big enough. He did beat me though. I'm gonna take that L like a man. I don't know why. I don't know how he beat me. I think I got a little too overconfident. I don't think that should happen too often. But so here's what happened actually. So RKT had been talking mad shit. Okay? He'd been talking mad shit about me and my partner Justin Freak, and I didn't like it. Neither did Justin Freak. And we're just like, yo, this dude lives like right next to the academy. Let's just go there and beat the shit out of him. Like, literally, he won't complain. The cops, none of that shit will happen, because this is basically like, it's professional wrestling. If he went to the cops and complained about us beating the shit out of him, that's automatic heat for him from the audience. He just looked like a bitch. So I kept that in mind. I'm like, if I go and beat this kid's ass right now, there will be literally zero repercussions. And I was like, this is a good strategy. So Justin Freak and I went there. We hid. Like, yo, let's just fuck with this kid. And we like, okay, we got a cameraman as well. It was pretty cool to have a cameraman, not gonna lie. Like, I felt like Logan Paul. And we entered his room, we just beat the shit out of him, dude. Like, it was fun. Like, and you know what the weird part was? You know what the sad part was? When we entered his room, he was watching wrestling. I'm like, what a mark, dude. Who watches wrestling? What the hell, dude? I got time for this shit, dude. So yeah, long story short, we went in his room, we beat the shit out of him. Didn't steal anything because there was nothing to steal. But yeah, boys, that's kind of it. Just whooped his ass. And then after that, we had a match with him and his partner, Aeon. I'm pretty sure we won that match because Justin Freak and I are actually very talented professional wrestlers, and we don't do it for the fun of it. We do it because we're fucking good, and we do it because we're going to be the best in the world. So yeah, pretty good story, pretty good. It was a good time beating the shit out of this kid in his room. Yep, but nothing illegal was done by me. I repeat, nothing illegal was done by me because he didn't complain to the cops. So we're chilling.
Of course.
Yeah.
Can you tell us why Freak had a jar of peanut butter?
Yes. The reason Freak had a jar of peanut butter was simply because we found it lying right next to his house, his room, our kitty's room. So he was like, yo, this could be pretty cool. Let me just go and chuck this at him. I'm like, fuck yeah, dude, go ahead. Just whatever you want, bro. Even if you stabbed him, it would have been bad. Like, nothing would have happened even if you stabbed our kitty. Chill. He's not going to go to the cops because if he does, straight away heat, bro. Like, in my next promo, I'd be like, our kitty, I stabbed the shit out of you. But you know what the issue is? You know what your issue is? You went to the cops. And you know what that makes you? That makes you a snitch. And we don't like snitch bitches. So, yeah. That was pretty fun. I had a good time doing that.
Well, getting into John Cena versus Jesus territory here. I think it's time for Ladamel's bizarre adventure. You're a pro wrestler that goes up and down the road, and weird, crazy, and bizarre things are bound to happen. Can you tell us a wrestling story or road story that fits that description?
Very interesting. You definitely put the infamous Ladamel on the spot, but here's the thing, you can never put the infamous Ladamel on the spot. You know why? Because the infamous Ladamel is the spot that everyone wants to take, and no one's going to get it. You know why? Because the infamous Ladamel is the protagonist of professional wrestling. Moving on to a bizarre professional wrestling story. Let me tell you about this one time I had to face like a debutant, okay, and this debutant was so bad in the ring, like so bad. Number one, I had to carry him through the match, okay, like there was a bunch of stuff happening in that match, and this guy just completely L'd himself, like really bad, like he. Don't know Loki. This guy, I'm pretty sure he shat himself. He was so stressed out, like I could smell it, dude. I'm pretty sure he shat himself in the ring. And me being the good guy that I am, I went ahead and just fucking said, "Yo, listen, dude, you're smelling like ass, dude. Like you smell really bad right now." I hit him with a suplex, and I'm just like, "Yo, I'm paying you right now. If you do anything else, if you fucking move a muscle, I will slap the shit out of you." And this kid he was just quiet the entire time. He didn't do shit. Like, he was like, what? Nothing. And this is before the match. Like, I could smell the shit on him before the match. So I went to the management. I'm like, yo, listen, like, just fucking cancel this match right now. This guy smells like ass. And it's like, what are you talking about? He's like, what do you mean? No way. Just go to the match. We're on the card. I made the manager stand next to this kid. I'm like, you smell something? He's like, yeah. And the kid also was like very embarrassed. Like, yeah. And they just canceled the match. But I'll tell you another story. About why Lord Justin Freak and I became enemies. Like, we used to be friends. We used to be good friends. Let me break this down for you. So I live about 2 hours away from Wrestle Square. And Lord Justin Freak lives about 1 hour away from Wrestle Square. On the off chance there's less traffic, because, well, in Noida, Delhi, India has a lot of traffic. Delhi has a lot of traffic. Out of the kindness of my heart, since I drive a whip, I whip around this entire city, I kind of drop him home sometimes, all right? Like, I drop him near his place so he can move from there, kind of covering about 70% of the distance for him. So one time, he hurt his ankle, okay? I think I gave him a very tight ankle lock, and I think I'm pretty sure I injured him pretty badly. And he's like, yo, could you drop me home? I'm like, fuck yeah, dog, I'm the nicest guy, of course I'm going to drop you home. And I sit in the car with this lad, and we start talking, we're talking about wrestling, we're talking about life, we're talking about shit we can do. And I think he took some painkillers and he fell asleep. I was like, this is the perfect chance. So I drive to my place, skipping the point when I'm supposed to drop Lord Justin Freak off. And I sit in the car, and I wake him up. I'm like, yo, you're like 15 minutes away from your house right now. And he's like, okay, he's like, oh, cool. Like, he's like, just woke up, he just woke up. And he's like, he's flustered. I'm like, yeah, 15 minutes from now, just book, just like, take this auto and you'll be there in like 15 minutes. He's like, cool, I'll take this tuk-tuk and I'll be there in 15 minutes. I leave the car, I drop him on the road. And he's like dazed at this point. I enter my crib, chill in, order some nice food out. This guy calls me 3 hours later. He's like, bro, I just reached home. That's the kind of mind games I can play with people. That's the kind of mind games I play with people. It's a different level when you're the infamous Ladamel. It's tough to be the infamous Ladamel. There's so many expectations. But because I'm so good and because I'm such a kind-hearted gentleman, I make mistakes. But this wasn't a mistake. This was just intentionally me fucking around with people. You know why? Because it's funny as shit. So yeah, if you want a bizarre road story, that's actually a bizarre road story.
Yeah, definitely for him, I'd say the least.
Yeah, I had fun with it. And then he challenged me to match the next week. I lost. That's okay. You win some, you lose some. I took 3 hours of his life away and made him waste them. I'm pretty happy with that. See, it's all about mindset, it's all about mindset, James. I could lose that match and be sad about it, or I could be like, fuck yeah, dude, I stole 3 hours of this kid's life, bro. Like, he made him pass out, he's hurt his ankle, and I put him through a lot of shit, dude. I was pretty happy with it. I think that's a dub for me. I think that's a dub for for Ladamel. It's a dub in the win column for Ladamel, for sure.
I definitely say that as well. Definitely a W for you.
Good, dude. James, I like you. I think you're smart. I think you get professional wrestling. I think you understand the infamous Ladamel and what the infamous Ladamel is about. Now, you know what? Majorly, I think you're able to quantify wins and losses. Most people can't. Dude, I went into RKT's house and beat the shit out of him. Okay? Like, it was pretty funny. Even if I lost the match, it doesn't matter to me because I went into his house and beat the shit out of him. Like, no rules, none of that shit. I disrespected him and where he sleeps. Like, now every night he falls asleep in his room, he's going, damn, this is where Ladamel came and beat the shit out of me. It's a win. It's a win. It's not about what happens in the ring. It's about what happens outside the ring. Psychology 101.
Oh, absolutely. Alright. Now, besides pro wrestling, you've trained MMA as well, no?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. To be completely honest, I feel every pro wrestler should train MMA, Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai as well. Because to act like a badass is one thing. To act like someone who can kick someone else's ass is one thing. But to actually be able to kick someone else's ass, to actually be able to hold your own fist fight when shit hits the fan, that's something else. And I think professional wrestlers nowadays should most certainly be real badasses. You can be all, oh, yes, I am fucking best wrestler ever. Yes, please watch my match. I am best wrestler ever. But if best wrestler ever tries to, pull some shit on me in the ring, I can stretch him. I can end that match in 2 seconds. It would take me, listen to this, James. It would take me 30 seconds for any wrestler in Wrestle Square. Okay, and I'm saying specifically in Wrestle Square, for them to go to sleep on the streets against the infamous Ladamel. 30 seconds. Maybe some of them are bigger. Maybe Neil is bigger. Maybe Neil will take 45 seconds because he's bigger. And you know why? It's because I'm an actual badass. I'm the real deal. I train jiu-jitsu. Motherfucker, I train Muay Thai. Elbow to the face, I slice your head open. And if anyone ever tries to take liberties with the infamous Ladamel in the ring, it's over. It'll take me 30 seconds to end that match. That's specifically why I think for any professional wrestler, it's very important for you to be trained in real martial arts. I'm not saying professional wrestling is not real martial art. I think it's the realest sport there is. But you got to be trained in every discipline there is in just combat sports in general, because then you actually understand the pacing of a match. Then you're able to hold your own. You're able to understand what actually happens in a match. You're able to understand what a real street fight feels like. And not only for professional.
Hello?
Joe Rogan says this, it's the vehicle to achieving human potential. I think that's one of the best lines in my life. No, Jiu-Jitsu changed my life. MMA changed my life. I was just like, what am I doing? And then I got like mad confidence because I realized that whoever's going to talk shit to me, I can kill them in 30 seconds, boss. What more matters? Like, fine, maybe I go to jail unless I'm good, unless I'm like, very good with the cops. I'm like, yo, dude, here's like a couple $1,000. Let me go, even like kill the guy. But it doesn't work that way, unfortunately. So yeah, at the same time, what martial arts doesn't. James, you train martial arts?
I do not.
James, you're missing out, bro. I can guarantee your life will change. You will be a different person because you're putting yourself through through difficulty, through hardship every day. I'll give you a story. Okay, I'll break this down for you and to everyone listening. I'll explain to you why I think martial arts is important and what kind of real life scenarios you can be put in where martial arts are going to be beneficial. Okay, so I was in a car with a friend of mine and three acquaintances of ours. Okay, so this is a small car. We're all chilling in the car, driving around. I'm a big guy. I'm like 6'1". There's two people in the front seat, so the driver and the guy sitting in the front, and three of us at the back. Okay, we've been hanging out in the car for like 2-3 hours. I'm not gonna say what we're doing in the car, ha ha ha. But there's nothing sexual. I can guarantee that. Um, we're back. I'm here now, right? You can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Continue.
All right, cool. So back to the story. Okay. First off, nothing sexual. Okay, it was a little bit just this boys bantering around. You know how it is, boys bantering around. A little bit of a session going on. Make of that what you will. I'm sitting in the back seat. One guy in front of me, two people in front, three of us at the back, and I'm a little uncomfortable because it's a little cramped. I tell this guy who's in the front seat, I'm like, yo, listen, dude, just do me a favor. Like, you're going up right now to get something in your place. Let me sit in front for the last 15 minutes of this quote-unquote session. He says, no. If you sit in front, there will be a scene. I said, oh, okay, dog, whatever, bro. I'm just asking to sit in front. It's not that big of a deal. This dude goes up, and I sit in the front seat. Dude comes back down, and I see him. He's right in front of me because I'm sitting in the front seat, and I see him walk towards me. He takes a little turn out the corner, and I see him with a knife in his hand. I was like, okay, boy. And everyone panicked for a second, like, what's happening? He sits behind me. I'm pretty sure he's about to stab me. I grab his hand. I twist it. And everyone in the car is panicking. Like, damn, bro, dude, what's wrong with you? Relax, bro, relax. Calm down. Everyone's panicking. I'm there. I'm calm. And he's trying to go for me, mind you. I've got his hand. I twist his hand. Just twist it a little bit. He leaves the knife because he's in pain. Because I have good grip strength because of years of jiu-jitsu. So I'm like, what's wrong with you? I get off the car. I throw the knife away. This guy gets off the car as well. Now, he knows that if he squares up with me, it's over for him. I know that if I square up with him, it's over for him. But you know what? I did nothing. I let him go. Simply because what jiu-jitsu has taught me over the years is to be calm in any situation. And I was calm as a motherfucker. Dude's trying to stab me, I'm calm as a motherfucker. I see him right after he tries to stab me. I can kill him, I can beat the shit out of him, I can make him look like a bitch, I can embarrass him, I can steal his t-shirt and walk away. He can't do shit about it. What do? I do nothing. You know why? Because I'm calm. Because jiu-jitsu teaches you that. If you're putting yourself in mental stress every day of the week, or you're in a tough spot, and every day someone's trying to choke you out, someone's trying to tear your limbs apart, and of course you're not getting them torn apart, you're not getting choked out, you're tapping at the right time, it's respectful sparring. I can guarantee that nothing else will stress you out in life. Simply put, because you're so used to pressure. People don't have pressure in their lives. People are not put under pressure often enough for them to be able to manage high pressure situations. That's where regular combat sports training comes into play. Manage high pressure situations where it's actually physical fisticuffs, and your average life and any high pressure situation that you're put into is going to be a cakewalk. That's why I recommend everyone, if they want to change their lives, join some martial arts. Learn jiu-jitsu, specifically jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, wrestling. Learn these three. You can also forego wrestling if you want to just do jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai, and you're good enough, bro. You're good enough. You're better than 99.9% of the world already, just because you can kill them in a fight. And people, the world nowadays is all about money, status, all of that shit. I'm like, no, bitch. I've met enough people with money. I've met enough people with status. I've met enough people with, a lot of fucking success. But if you're a bitch, you're a bitch. Simply put. No amount of money can make you less of a bitch. And that's what it is. So if you want to be like the best version of yourself, martial arts. That's it. Nothing else.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I don't necessarily know the name of it, but you have one of those clubs that the Orange Sheik used to use back in the day. Um, I am correct on that, right?
The Iron Sheik. What? I'm a little confused. What is the Iron Sheik use?
Oh, those gigantic clubs where you kind of juggle them in your hands.
Okay. That's so. I'll tell you about that. That's called a mudgar. Okay. Basically, mudgar is how Indians used to train back in the day. It's an Indian, exercise tool. The reason people are moving towards Mudgar training now specifically. Oh yeah, well, my bad. I just stopped you there. What do you want to ask me about that particular club?
Whatever you'd like to tell us about it.
Well, sure. I'll give you a breakdown of what it is and how the physiognomy and the physical benefits that you can get from training with a Mudgar. Personally, I bought it just because it looks cool as fuck. Yeah, but the benefits are simple. Okay, I'm gonna give you a shoulder as an example. Okay, do you work out, James? Do you lift?
I do some light uh um lifting, but nothing
My,
major.
you go lift harder, my. You go lift harder, my. You go to the gym and pump some iron, yeah. But then I remember that you're a wrestling fan. Wrestling fans don't lift. Sorry, that's how it is, guys.
This
I
is
kind of know how
correct.
wrestling fans are. Right? This is correct. Yes, dude. Watch an AEW show and just look at the audience, bro. Just look at the audience. That's all. That's all I do. I I I watch the difference. Like very interesting study for you. Watch a WWE show and watch an AEW show and look at the audience. See the exact difference in the kind of people showing up to each show. Back to the Mudgar now. So the Mudgar is an Indian exercise equipment uh, where it's I don't know the history of it, like it's been there for like decades. But what I find very interesting about it is the specific work that you can do for your shoulders. Now, traditionally people train shoulders. The shoulders are essentially 360 muscle, not exactly 360, but at least 270 degrees you can move it. The way people train shoulders is in specific, isolation movements like a shoulder press where you push a barbell or dumbbells up, lateral raise where you kind of move it sideways, or an upright row or reverse fly, whatever. Essentially, you're moving your shoulders in one particular direction. What the Mudgar allows you to do is the Mudgar allows you to strengthen your shoulders while moving your shoulders in a 360-degree angle. Essentially, you are rotating weight and you are giving your shoulder the most important movement that is, which is a full range of motion movement. That's kind of the best thing for like I feel it's very important because what we do right now for shoulders is very one dimensional. Upright rows, overhead rows, flies, and everything. All of that stuff is just you're working your shoulders, but you're stiffening your shoulders as well. This, on the other hand, actually strengthens your shoulders and gives you more mobility. Essentially, every different angle that it hasn't been worked in is now getting worked in. So yeah, that's kind of the logic behind it.
Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah. Yes.
Now, before there was pro wrestling for you, there was
Hmm.
Ladamel TV. Can you tell us
Yes,
about that?
sir. Yes, sir. All right. So India in general on social media is the most R-word content I've seen in my life. Okay, I don't want to use that word right now because I want to work for like a big wrestling company, and I think people kind of look down on that word, but that is the exact word I would use. Okay, it's there's two kinds of people who make content in India. Okay, people from lower income sections, and they just make terrible content. But people from lower income sections also watch that content and they enjoy it because it's terrible content. And like, yo, this dude who's like me is making this content, so I'm interested in it. If your IQ is low, you will watch low IQ content. No offense again to anyone. I mean, I understand my privilege, etc. Whatever. There's that kind of content. That pisses me off to an extent, yes, because you're making dumb people dumb. But what really irks me was people who are well spoken, English speaking, educated folk making low hanging fruit content. Essentially, what you're doing is if you're acting like an influencer in India, you're making shareable content. What shareable content entails is that you just want people to share and actually partake in the brain rot of the world. If you are an educated person, you're making content that is, just focused on getting likes, clicks, shares, you are scum of the earth to me because you're using your platform to do absolutely nothing. And Ladamel TV. It's not Ladamel TV. I was the most electrifying man on the motherfucking internet. That's what the moniker was. I still am, by the way. The entire purpose of that as a whole was to shed light on people who are half-assed in their content but are getting a lot of fame. I want someone who follows influencer X who's a dumbass and makes the same shareable kind of content. I want one of his fans to watch my content and see that I'm pointing out the clear lack of effort and the low-hanging fruit that is this person's content. The person you're following, his content makes no sense. That was kind of the intention behind it. And the reason why I stopped doing it man to man, it's tough to keep hating on people throughout the day. Like, it ain't fun, bro. I don't feel like people are putting themselves out there. It's not easy to put yourselves out there, even though you're making trash content and you're with the only focus being monetizing it and being metrics. Although that's very bad, it's not easy for someone to make content on people just shitting on people who are making content, right? That was kind of the impetus I was at that point in time. That's kind of where I was stuck. This
Right.
Like, I don't feel good doing this. Yeah. So yeah, but I mean, people still continue making dumbass content in India. People still continue making low-hanging fruit, low IQ content in India, and it kind of became my issue with influencer culture in general. Obviously, look, like, no hate to like Nelk boys, Logan Paul, etc. Those guys are entertainers, right? They do shit that entertains you. But with fashion blogging, stuff like making shareable content, like if your friend, like if this is your friend, share it with that one friend who is, who's fucking owes you money, all of that stuff that's just going to get you like quick shareable content. You're showing the world and you're showing the youth that you can make money without actually impacting the world, without having any real impact on the world. And that in itself is a very hedonistic approach towards, life in general. And that's kind of what I felt to an extent, was what I was trying to call out back. And then I realized that, this subculture is going to grow. Creator economy is going to grow, whether I like it or not. Either instead of joining them, I should just sit out for it. Like, why do I want to make so many enemies before I even have any kind of, notoriety for that matter? So that's kind of why I screw this. It's not good to shit on people all the time. Because then when people start shitting on me, will I be able to take it? Which I will, because you know why? Because I'm the protagonist of professional wrestling, simply put.
Do you think we'll ever see a reboot or a new version?
Of what?
Of Ladamel TV?
Yeah, most certainly you will. I'm already working on something. But the strategy of that is different. The strategy is not to shit on people. The strategy is to just entertain people without negatively impacting them. Without making one person the butt of the joke. I don't think that's a conducive content format. And I don't think I think if you're just spending your time hating on people, it's the same issue that I have with people who make low-hanging fruit content, right? This in itself is low-hanging fruit. Hating on people, commentary videos and stuff like that.
Well,
for sure. If you look at my most recent reel, I just shot a prank somewhere at like a Mexican restaurant.
Yeah.
Give that a look. Yeah.
Well, speaking of positive content, RKT definitely did not feel that.
Well, RKT's a little bitch, and that's his fault, honestly. I have nothing to do with that. I tried to make him my friend. You think I didn't? I told him, bro, you and I are going to have a match right now. All I want you to do, I don't want to beat your ass. I just want you to quickly, lie on your back for like 3 seconds, okay? I will put my foot on your chest, and the referee's going to count 1, 2, 3. That's all I asked. That's literally all I asked of him. And he's like, no, I'm going to fight. I'm going to fight like an underdog. I'm like, bitch, RKT, you don't even know what an underdog is, number one. Number two, RKT, you're messing with the best. You're messing with the protagonist of professional wrestling. I'm the Gurgaon gangster. I'm the Delhi Don. You mess with the best, you die like the rest. And that's kind of what he saw when I entered his house. In proper home invasion, by the way. There's an actual home invasion, literally. What you would call that a home invasion, wouldn't you?
For legal reasons, I will plead the fifth.
Fair enough. Good call. See, you get it. You get what I'm talking about, right? But RKT didn't have. I knew that if RKT went to the cops for me entering his house and beating the shit out of him, he would be called a snitch.
Right.
It would basically be a heel turn for him. So I was like, let me make the most of this. See, for me, different. If RKT wanted to enter my house, he won't be able to. You know why? Because I have security. I have 24/7 security. I live in a gated community, my guy. None of that other shit, bro. None of that brokey shit.
Always thinking 10
Gated
steps
community.
ahead?
If RKT, 100%, if RKT wanted to enter my house, we'd have to call the guards. The guards are going to call me and be like, hey, Ladamel, this kid wants to come and meet you right now. I would be like, yo, send him up. And you know what I'd be doing? I'd be waiting with a baseball bat to beat the shit out of him again. Because he's not smart. I'm smart. I'm a genius. I'm the protagonist of professional wrestling. He's an idiot. He's a nobody. He'll never make it in this industry. He'll never make it in this business. You know why? Because I'm a student of the game and because I'm the protagonist of professional wrestling. Simply put. Honestly, I hate that people hate me. I hate that people don't respect the infamous Ladamel for who he is. But there are people in the audience. There are some people who understand who I am and what I'm doing, and they know that I have all the tools. I'm the complete package. It's just a matter of time now. There's too many obstacles. I've faced a lot of obstacles in this professional wrestling journey of mine. But but that's okay. I'm like a river. Okay, I'm like a river flowing through a mountain. I keep hitting the stone. I keep hitting the stone. I keep hitting the stone until the stone finally gives and I become a stream. I flow down the mountain because I'm persistent. I'm the best in the world. CM Punk's the GOAT right now for me. I know that CM Punk in the next 4 years will be like, damn, I'm glad I got to wrestle the infamous Ladamel. So yeah, but shout out MJF though. MJF's the guy. MJF kind of showed me that MJF's a year older than I am, maybe 2 years older than I am. And I was like, dude, this dude is killing it right now. This dude is killing it right now. And I was like, what's better? What can he do that I can't do? That's it. That's basically it. What else can I say, dude? Like, it's that kind of notion that I kind of had that, dude, this is what I want to do since I was a kid. I kind of realized that professional wrestling is my childhood dream, and I will kick my ass for the rest of my life if I don't pursue it right now. That's it. That's basically it. That's everyone who wants to actually do something on their own and fucking chase their dreams. Do it now, bro. Time is your biggest ally, and time is your biggest enemy. Simply put. I was watching, I think this was Saudi Arabia 2022. I see AJ Styles. I'm watching with 3 of my friends. No other professional wrestling fan out of them except for me, and I'm forcing them to watch professional wrestling. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, James. Forcing your friends to watch wrestling when they don't give a fuck.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, right? Yep. I'm doing that. Same thing. I see AJ Styles walk out and I see the crowd go crazy. I'm like, I look to my friend. I'm like, bro, like, I have to have this happen to me. Like, it would be life wasted if I don't get to do this. If I don't get to see a crowd chanting my name, Ladamel. If I don't get to see that, what's the point of living? This is like what I've been wanting to do since I was a kid. And he's like, where are you gonna do it? I'm like, bro, there's an academy. It's like 2 hours away from where I live. I have a lot of work also. I have a business to run. I have multiple businesses to run. Let me focus on that. He's like, bro, you're being a bitch. It's just 2 hours away. This is what you really want to do. Why don't you do it? 48 hours later, I went for my first wrestling class. I was like, this is it. No looking back. And, there were times when I was like, dude, this shit is painful, but this shit is not easy. I've done years of jiu-jitsu, years of MMA. I can tell you that professional wrestling is way harder. It's way harder. It's too difficult. I respect everyone who trains MMA, and I love MMA, and it's one of my favorite sports. I watch every fight. I watch even niche. I watch undercard, and I'm telling you, dude, professional wrestling is another thing because you gotta. It's tough to learn. It's very tough to learn. It's not for everyone. You gotta go through it to actually get good at professional wrestling. So yeah, I'm like, dude, this is professional wrestling is my first love. And, I was talking to my friend about it, and he's just like, you should just do it. You're being a bitch because you're not going through this, and you're gonna hate yourself for not doing it. I'm like, and forever, even if I don't talk to a friend of mine anymore, like you lose touch, etc. I'll always remember it for that, for telling me, to just making me realize that I'm being a bitch. That's it. Sometimes you just need someone to tell you that you're being a bitch too, and you stop being a bitch. Real talk.
I think that's a good segue into the colossal question. Let's say they're making a movie about you. Every movie has a soundtrack. What would be the first 3 songs on your movie soundtrack?
Interesting question. Number one would be Nayi Dilli by Kahan Hai Samad, which is my walkout music. Nayi space Dilli. Second would be You're the Best Around, feeling with Pie. Saw it like recently. I've been watching that. It's stunning music. And third would be Cult of Personality. Simple. So that's who I am. A cult of personality.
Okay. A solid
Yeah,
three picks,
simple
to say
answer.
the least.
Yes, so gotta add my entrance music for sure. Nai Delhi, New Delhi. That means New Delhi. That's where I'm from. That's the streets. That's the ends. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Now that we have the
Yeah.
soundtrack down, everybody knows you get the soundtrack first, then you write the script, and then you go
Yes,
to
sir.
casting. Who plays
You get it. You get it.
And you can't say yourself because you are obligated to make a Stan Lee-esque cameo.
Well, number one, if they were making a movie on my life, it would definitely be me playing myself simply because I'm a brilliant actor. Hollywood, here I come. Bollywood, here I come. Don't worry about me. I'm going to make it as an actor also. Let me think. Who could play me? Who's that handsome? Who's handsome enough to play me? I would say Tom Cruise. Maybe give Tom Cruise a stash. He might look as good as the infamous Ladamel.
Okay.
Alternatively, it's got to be an Indian guy, I would say. Right? I mean, do you think is it racist for me to say an Indian guy should play me? Or is it racist for me to say someone from another country should play me?
I don't think that it's either which way. It's whoever you'd like to. I mean, Robert Downey Jr. played somebody not his skin color.
Yeah, a great movie by the Tropic Thunder. Brilliant movie.
Yes.
One of my favorites. It's hilarious. Yeah, hilarious. I would say Ronnie Coleman. I think we kind of look the same. So I would say Ronnie Coleman would be a pretty good shout for playing the infamous Ladamel. Chris Bumstead could play younger Ladamel. Ronnie Coleman could play older Ladamel.
Okay.
Yeah. What do you think? Do you think they do justice to the infamous Ladamel?
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, if they're getting
Good
the
call,
stamp
good call.
of approval from the protagonist, then obviously they have to be good.
Yep, most certainly, dude, most certainly. As the protagonist of professional wrestling, as the chosen one, I approve this message.
Now, every movie has a supporting cast. Who would be three
Okay.
people significant to you in your story that would be in your movie, and who would play them?
All right, well, number one's got to be Triple H, Hunter Hearst Helmsley. That part of the movie hasn't been scripted yet, but it's going to be pretty important, I feel. Second is going to be Kevin Malik. Kevin Malik is a great coach. I think he's taught me a lot about wrestling, things that I didn't even know. And honestly, it's tough to teach the infamous Ladamel because if you know everything, like if I know everything, it's going to be tough for people to teach me something new, right?
Right.
But he was able to teach me something new. So respect to Kevin Malik. And third would probably be, I would say The Rock. Because The Rock is going to be like, damn, Ladamel, I'm going to mentor you because I see a lot of myself in you. And I'll be like, fuck yeah, it's cool, Rock. I mean, I've got a lot of people asking me for mentorship and for me to be their mentee. But I choose you because, you're the final boss, bro. The final boss. I'm the final boss's boss. I'm the final boss. So yeah, I would say it's going to be The Rock. I mean, dude, honestly, I have a question for you. Like, you probably asked this question to a bunch of people, the one that you're talking about right now, who would play your supporting cast. What kind of answers do you get?
It varies depending on the person, where they're from, things like that. Usually, either Jason Momoa or Tom Hardy are favorite candidates for the main being the main character. Wives or girlfriends are usually Scarlett Johansson, Salma Hayek, super beautiful women.
NPCs, man, NPCs. That's the thing. Like, these guys don't believe that there's actually going to be a movie made about them. For me, I know there's going to be a movie made about me. I know there's going to be multiple movies made about me.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, that's it, dude. That's the game. That's the game plan. That's how you become the best. You don't fuck around. You just got to be the best. The thing is, if you're not going to believe in yourself, who's going to believe in you, simply put? And you might be like, dude, this guy's overconfident. promoter. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I thoroughly believe that that the spot that I am going to get is going to be the spot I deserve. And no amount of talking trash can take away from me what's meant to be mine.
Right, and I'm a big believer in DIY. Do it yourself because nobody will do it for you.
Sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Pave the way on your own. That's the fun part. Fuck it, I'll do it myself. It's a song by Russ.
Yes.
The motto of my life.
100%.
That's it, dude. I know that even if I know I'm going to become a huge professional wrestling star, but I know that creatively, I could run an entire company. I could write everything. I could produce the entire show because I'm actually a producer. I moonlight as a professional wrestler. I'm actually a film producer. I have a lot of experience in this. And you know what I study the most? I study professional wrestling. Every film you watch, every piece of content is professional wrestling. Professional wrestling is the most elementary way of storytelling, if you look at it very carefully. It's good, bad becomes good becomes bad, and that's majorly it. Every single storyline in professional wrestling is from the movies, and every single storyline from the movies is from professional wrestling. If you can make that, that parallel between the two, you understand the building blocks of content.
Oh yeah. And it is sounding like a great movie, a blockbuster to say the least, and you could pre-order the tickets now.
Yes, sir. Produced, written, scripted, and starred by the infamous Ladamel. That's it.
Now, onto a controversial subject. Pineapple
Yes,
on pizza. What's your stance?
Dude, I fucking love it, bro. I fucking love pineapple on pizza. I don't know what people's problem with pineapple on pizza is. I love pineapple on pizza, but I tell you what, dude, I miss pizza. I fucking love pizza, but if the food I'm eating has no nutritional value to me, I try to stay as far away from it as possible. So I haven't had pizza in maybe 2 months now. And I was thinking yesterday was Sunday, and I'm like, fuck, dude, I'm gonna have some pizza tonight. Then I told myself, I'm like, Ladamel, every meal you eat either gets you one step closer to your goal or keeps you one step further away from your goal. That's the decision I had to make. It was a tough decision, but I made the right decision by not eating pizza. Maybe next week I'll try convincing myself. Maybe I'll fast the entire day and eat pizza. I don't know. Let's see. I do love pizza. Pineapple on pizza, yes. Most certainly, yes. What do you think, James?
I've never had pineapple on pizza. And that's primarily because my mother is actually allergic to pineapple. So pineapples in general were just something I just didn't have in my life.
Dude, pineapple is the best fruit. It's the Mount Rushmore of fruits. Especially if you're eating non-vegetarian food like chicken. Eat pineapple with it because the acidity that pineapple provides actually acts as a great base for chicken, I believe. I'm not sure of the exact science. All I know is if you're eating chicken, eat the pineapple with it. So don't stay away from pineapple on that. I'm telling you, if you're going to do one thing from what the infamous Ladamel is going to advise you, try it. Just try Hawaiian pizza. And I want you to write to me after that and tell me how you like the Hawaiian pizza.
If it's ever presented to me, I will try it. But I'm definitely not going to go out of my way to order it.
Nothing in life is presented to you, James. Nothing in life is presented to you, James. Remember that. Nothing in life is presented to you. You have to go out and get it. And I want you to do that for yourself. I want you to order a tiny pizza, like maybe a slice. Go to a restaurant that only gives you a slice, okay? Try one slice of pineapple on pizza. And I want to hear back from you. That's one thing. I need that. James, I need you to try it. I need you to try it.
Okay.
Are you going to try it?
I will see if there is somewhere where they serve just a slice of pineapple pizza.
And I'm telling you, one slice is not enough, dude. It's like crack. It's like crack. I'm telling you, pineapple on pizza is like crack, dog.
My list of things I need to try is getting long.
Yeah, what name? Give me a couple of things that you need to try. I'll tell you if they're good or not. It'll save you some time.
One guest wanted me to try Jollibees.
What the fuck is Jollibees?
It's a chicken place.
I don't know. I haven't heard of it. It's probably shit. It's probably shit. Don't worry. Move. What's next?
Well, it's a chicken place, like KFC, but it's based in Thailand. No, Philippines.
Ooh.
So yes.
Yeah, I fucking love KFC. Just want to let you know, I fucking love KFC.
Good man.
Goes hard. Yeah, KFC goes hard, but I can't eat it anymore. You know why?
Because it's definitely not wrestler friendly.
Yes, sir. You get it, dude. You get it. You started to get it, James. I think you've talked to a bunch of professional wrestlers at this point. I'm sure they like you.
Close to 400 at this point.
Very nice, dude. Very nice. I like that you're giving us a platform because who else is like I know like I'm not big enough of a star right now to get on any podcast. And when I got your message, you're like, yo, Ladamel, I'd like to have you on my podcast. I was like, this is dope. This is dope because this is training for me. Any amount of time I spend as Ladamel is me getting better at being Ladamel. Simply put. So I'm really appreciative of the offer that you gave me. No cap.
Absolutely. I mean, you're good at pro wrestling. I'm good at interviewing pro wrestlers. That's
Who's the best guest you got?
best guest. I can't necessarily say best guest because everybody is, so different. But one...
Diplomatic, you're a great journalist.
Huh?
Diplomatic, you're a great journalist. So yeah, who's the best wrestler?
One person that I just enjoyed, really listening to was Sal DePaul, Sal Ronaldo, who had literally stories about every single pro wrestler from today, yesterday, and the day before that. And one of my favorite stories was his interaction with Coco Beware. So, yeah, he just had stories for days about AJ Styles, Jamie Noble, Seth Rollins, Adam Pearce, everybody. And, yeah, it's just awe-inspiring listening to somebody, just talk about, their experiences and stories.
I had an experience like that recently. I recently connected with this wrestler called Top Gun Talwar. Have you heard of him?
I don't believe so.
Long story short, he's one of the PWG 6. So this gentleman was one of the founders of PWG, and he was telling, and he's someone I know through another connection, and especially in India, knowing someone else doing professional wrestling is like wild. Like I found nobody who does professional wrestling in my inner circle except for this one gentleman, and he's a friend of an acquaintance. Like he's related to an acquaintance of mine, and I spoke to him, and he was telling me stories about how he lived with Daniel Bryan, how Daniel Bryan called him to go to Japan, how he used to hang out with Seth, how he used to hang out with Kevin Steen, his time starting PWG, how he was there for the first day Young Bucks came to wrestling school with Scorpio, with Super Dragon, telling me about how Scorpio Sky is one of his best friends, even still to this day. Mad, dude. Like, when you grow up, you realize that these people are not that far. They're just like you. They're just like you, but they just had the internal fortitude to go ahead and do something that people would, kind of question. And that's where all the respect comes from.
I mean, maybe somebody could say that they were in a triple threat with Sami Zayn and Kenny Omega, but only one person can say that they beat Kenny Omega and Sami Zayn in a Big Mac eating contest, and that's Sexy Eddie.
That's wild, dude. That's wild. And who's the biggest guest you've had?
The biggest right now that comes to mind is Maverick Brave. Start of the year, got to interview the head coach of Black and Brave.
Ooh, Black and Brave, yes, sir. That's actually a wrestling school I was looking to go to because, I myself have been trying to move to an extent, considering moving out of the country to pursue wrestling. And the only way I can actually start getting bookings is if I redo a course at any of the WWE ID schools. So Black and Brave is one I'm very interested in. I was looking at Nightmare Factory, Evolve, I think Harley Race Academy is also an interesting one that I could look to go to. But that's all later on. Let's see. Like, I'm only 27, and I think I'm old to an extent now at this point. But at this point, I need to start making moves in the industry.
Yes.
I can get on the podcast, I can do whatever, but I need to start making moves. So either something happens over here or something happens over there, but I have to be there to make something happen.
Well, I definitely.
But you know what? I'm sorry about that. Sorry for cutting you off. I'm optimistic about Indian professional wrestling growing. I know that this market is too big, and I know that professional wrestling is back on upswing, and it's big enough for someone to come to India and be like, "Yo, I need professional wrestlers." It's big enough for WWE set up base in India and be like, "Yo, we're going to set up NXT in India." It's big enough for them to host a tryout over here in India. As soon as the opportunity comes a knock in, the infamous Ladamel will be ready, without a shadow of a doubt.
Hell yeah. And if you're going to sign up for
Yes,
Black
sir.
and Brave, I'd probably say sign up now, because you're probably not going to get in until 2027.
Yeah, I think by 2027, I'm going to be a professional. I'm going to be in a big company by 2027. So I guess Black and Brave won't have the privilege of having the infamous Ladamel as one of their esteemed graduates. Sorry, Seth Rollins. Sorry, Mr. Black. No, Mr. Brave. My bad. Mr. Black is Seth Rollins. Tyler Black.
The
Yeah.
loss.
When I was a kid, I didn't know what independent wrestling really was until I saw that one clip of Seth Rollins doing like a backflip of a fat guy. I'm like, what? That's Seth Rollins? No way. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
Brilliant clip. Like people, my friends who know I wrestle still send me that videos like, "Yo, Ladamel, when you doing this?" I'm like, bitch, that's fat shaming. I don't like fat shaming. I love fat shaming. So yeah, yeah, that's kind of it, dude. That's kind of it. But honestly, to anyone out there who like wants to do something that's off the beaten path, just fucking do it, bro. Just fucking do it. Like you're gonna the biggest risk you can take in life now is to not take a risk.
Right.
That's kind of it, dude. That's kind of any advice I'd give to people. Because people ask me for advice on just career stuff also. Because I also run my I run my own businesses as well, which is something I do full time. I won't go into it right now because I don't want it to happen to the infamous Ladamel. Just keep it like a separate aspect of my life.
Right.
To understand that you can do anything you want, but you can't do everything.
Right.
It was a tough realization for me to kind of figure that out. But yeah, it is what it is, dude. To be the best, you gotta pay the price.
Let's get back into questions here.
Yes, sir.
What's your spirit Pokemon?
Charizard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Now, weirdest question you'll be asked on a wrestling interview, hopefully. Would you ever consider wrestling a Rock? Not Dwayne Johnson, not the country, an actual physical Rock.
Nope. Disrespectful to the business that I grew up watching. Never in my life will I do something like that.
And you can't upset Uncle Jim Cornette, right?
Never. Never.
Well,
If Jim Cornette likes me, I know I'm doing the right thing. That's it. That's a standard I want to set.
Well, just for context, there is a wrestler named Psycho Mike that indeed wrestled a Rock for over 15 minutes in a Tungsten Man match. That's an Arm Man match that lasts for 2 weeks.
That's so bad. That's so bad. Why would he do? It's like that's as bad as Invisible Man versus Invisible Man.
Well, he did wrestle in the Invisible Man as well. So, and a dog.
Dude, that's
so...
my issue. I lost a lot of respect from Kenny the moment he took that Canadian Destroyer from that little girl.
Right.
I was like, why you gotta do that, dog? Why you gonna make this look bad? People send me that shit, right? People send me that tent match. We're talking about we went to wrestlers who were in the tent and they were like wrestling from the tent. You know what I'm talking about? That video. They were like they set up their own makeshift tents and they started wrestling. People send me those videos and like, yo, this is what you're doing. I'm like, bro, what you're doing is you're ruining people who kind of put a lot of effort into staying legit. Right?
Right.
To keeping this business legit, and that's something that I'm never going to respect. I can't do it. Sure, you could call it performance art if you like, but it's not performance art. It's real fighting. It's real fighting. If you can make people believe what you're doing is real and who you are is real, then you're actually making money. Then you're a good professional wrestler. Next question, please.
On a serious note, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
WWE champion, or maybe another promotion comes up in this country, and I'm the champion over there, and I'm doing movies all over. I'm a big film star, the biggest film star in this country, maybe the world. I don't know, a millionaire as well, multiple different successful businesses running at the same time, and most of all, I see myself as happy. I'm like, fuck yeah, I did something cool. That's majorly it. I didn't know that I did something cool. I didn't know that I didn't waste time. Biggest stressor is time.
Oh, yeah. And what is a match people should go out of their way to see that best shows off what you are as a pro wrestler?
The next Ladamel match is always going to be the best one. That's the mindset I want to have for this. I want my next match to be the best match. It's easier said than done, but that's the mindset I want to have. But if you want to look at a good match, watch Ladamel versus RKT was a good match. RKT 2. When I walked out and issue is lack of production quality will make me not want to suggest any of my matches. And I'm a huge stickler for good production quality, but if I'm not in control of the production, I'm not happy with it. But yeah, next match is always the best match.
Right. Well, the link to your YouTube will be in the description of the video below, both on YouTube and Castbox. So, people could just, check out all your matches.
Yes, sir.
So, anybody that hasn't seen them, wants to see them, wants to re-see them after this interview. And since we are nearing the conclusion of this interview, we are wrestling with the 8 questions of doom.
All right.
And that's what happens when your sound effect malfunctions.
Dude, at least you have sound effects. Respect. I've never been on a podcast before. Actually, I have, but there was no sound effects there. So I'm moving up in the world, to be completely honest.
Let's try this again. The 8 questions of doom. There we go.
Go on. Nice.
This is our speed round or bonus round, the round where we see who you really are. Are you ready?
All right, let's go. Born ready, sir.
Excluding yourself, greatest wrestler of all time.
Wait, what do you mean? Explain myself?
No, excluding yourself, greatest wrestler of all time.
Excluding myself.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Simple question. Now, depends. There's multiple different facets you look at. Shawn Michaels for in-ring work, CM Punk for making someone believe in professional wrestling, and get people behind you, and The Rock and John Cena for star power.
Worst wrestler
of all time. I have a couple in mind. I'm not going to say it, but for the sake of, I don't want to offend anyone because I see people working like trash in the ring. But that's a tough one. I would say it's probably RKT. Yeah, it's probably RKT without a doubt. RKT. Yeah, it's RKT.
You're main eventing WrestleMania for the World Championship. Who is your opponent?
CM Punk.
If you could come out to anyone's entrance music, past or present, who would it be?
The Rock.
Which one?
Actually, no, I take it back. Batista. Yeah, Batista without a doubt. That fucking song is too good.
Which?
I walk for miles inside the spirit of danger. Too good.
Okay. Finish the sentence. Kayfabe is
where it's supposed to be. Kayfabe is where the money is at. That's the right answer. Is where the money is at.
We would have also accepted tastes great on toast.
Sorry, say that again?
We would have also accepted taste great on toast.
Good one.
Squash, vegetable or fruit?
That's tough. I would say fruit.
That is correct. It is indeed a
Oh,
feat.
thank you, sir. I am very well educated. I'm a scholar. I actually went to college on a scholarship. Not many people know that about me.
All right. Well, they're teaching you of fruits and vegetables. That's a good thing. New Japan wrestler Taichi, his ring gear gets smaller every year, revealing more of himself to the world. My question, what is the appropriate trunks to butt cheek ratio for ring gear?
Depends on how much you squat.
So
Depends on how much you squat.
Basically depending on the ass is what you're saying.
Might. I'm the infamous Ladamel. Why are you asking me such sus-ass questions, dog? What are you trying to do over here, huh, James? What are you trying to do, boy?
Hey, this is the questions that we asked everybody.
Not the infamous Ladamel. Yeah, the infamous Ladamel is the best in the world. You don't ask CM Punk about ass to fucking ass to trunk ratio. You know, I'm kidding, dude. Like honestly, I would say, yep. I would say whatever fits your build the best is the right answer. Because some people have literally no glutes, and for them, like keep on your keep them on your thigh. You know,
right?
Like kind of what prototype John Cena used to wear. But then again, MJF's a little too much, though. I feel MJF goes a little too hard with it. I think he needs to relax on it. But yeah. I guess what Rock would be the ideal size, I'm guessing. But ideally, what I feel the best look for trunks is Ric Flair when the waistline is higher than what it normally is. I think that looks good. Like what old school wrestlers would wear, like what Harley Race used to wear, what Arn Anderson used to wear. That's kind of the right look.
Okay.
At least in my opinion, because it doesn't look like sus. It just looks like they're fighting the most comfortable clothing, and you're trying to show off your muscles as well. You don't care about the pageantry. That's the mindset I want the wrestler to have.
I got you.
Yes, sir.
And the last question, the main event, the thing everybody wants to know. Have you ever had a conversation with a stranger in a supermarket about Darby Allin?
No. Unfortunately not. But I'll tell you what, dude. Darby Allin, in my opinion, has this insane charisma. Like he is an outlier in the best sense because he's got this wild physical charisma. I don't know what it is. I think it's because he tosses himself around the ring like a test dummy. But at the same time, I feel Darby Allin is essentially like he's doing too much again. Like he's putting himself through way too much. But to answer your question, I don't think anyone in India actually watches enough wrestling to know who Darby Allin is. It's all WWE over here. AEW doesn't even have an Indian TV deal anymore, just for context.
And that is the correct answer. That will conclude this interview. Thank you so much for coming on and doing this with me.
Thank you for having me, James. I really appreciate your time, and let everyone know that I am the protagonist of professional wrestling. Simply put, no one's on my level. No one will ever be on my level. And if anyone wants to be a professional wrestler, you best study the sport. You best study as much as you can. You best listen to Cornette. You best listen to what's that show called? Dude, what's that show with
Busted Open?
Dudley Boys? Sorry, which one?
Busted Open?
Yes, Busted Open. Yes. Dude, you get it. Yeah, what? Listen to a lot of Busted Open. Listen to Busted Open. Listen to Cornette. Listen to Bischoff as well, specifically. Listen to another podcast called WrestleNomics. Yes, listen to a lot of WrestleNomics. WrestleNomics is a very underrated podcast because they actually tell you about the proper business of the sport, which if you're trying to get into wrestling is very important. Understand the numbers, understand everything that goes into it, understand what a draw is, understand how money is spent in the business, and understand how money is made in the business. This is the infamous Ladamel signing off and letting you know that once again, I am the protagonist of professional wrestling.
And where can we find you on social media and your merchandise?
Once again, sir, no merchandise because no one can afford a merchandising deal with the infamous Ladamel. But at the infamous Ladamel on Instagram, search Ladamel on YouTube, and that's all you need to find. If you want to book me, you got to pay me. You got to fly me out because I live in India and that's kind of expensive for you to fly me out. I understand if you don't want to book me. It's fine. Tickets do be expensive. But yes, sir.
And you don't even have to type it into your Google machine. All of the links to all his social media will be in the description of the video below, both on YouTube and Castbox. Simply click the link. A new tab will appear on whatever device you are on. You have no excuse. Give him a damn follow.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. And one more thing before we end this, shout out James J for Wrestling with Entertainment for taking the time out to interview us outliers, us people who just love professional wrestling, but we're just on the come up right now. And I appreciate you taking the time out to speak with me and helping me out. I wish you the best, James. And I hope to be on here some other time, hopefully when I'm a bigger star. And when I am a bigger star, I will not forget this interview and I will be with you. I will give you the greatest interview of all time.
Well, I appreciate that. And before we go, when I say wrestling wit, you say entertainment, okay?
Me?
Yes.
For me to say, dude, you gotta pay me for that kind of plug, man. I'm telling you. But you know what? You're a nice guy. I'll do it. You're a nice guy. I'll do it. Shoot.
For our special guest, the infamous Ladamel, Calico Yacht, Scooter Dust, I'm James J, and this has been Wrestling with
Entertainment.
Hey folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show, support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.